Go live. Click. Today's show is sponsored by none other than Donovan West. He is running for city council at large. To donate to Donovan's campaign, go to www.donovanforphilly.com. That's www.donovanforphilly.com for those of you listening and not viewing. Donovan is a man committed to making his community better. He listens to lead. Donovan West for City Council at Large in Philadelphia, PA. You can donate to his campaign at donovanforphilly.com. Welcome to Talk to Me. I'm your tongue-tied host, Brenda Warren, the solutionist. I see things other people often miss. And today, I am being joined by none other than my partner in everything good, the founder of Take Action University, Miss Lisa Ducharme. She is the 15-minute results coach. Lisa is a 20-year Air Force, a retired Air Force veteran. She's all about results. She's a results and team building coach, a business strategist, a veteran care advocate, an Amazon best-selling author. Actually, she's written more than 8 books and has 3 more in the pipeline. Letha, child, y'all gonna have to help me today. I am definitely having trouble with my talking. But Lisa is a serial author, and I love that about her. We're going to talk all about that today on Talk to Me on this Face It Friday, when Lisa helps me face the fact that it is important that we love what we do and we do what we love. So I'm going to bring Lisa into the stream. Hey, Lisa, how's it going?
Hey, Brenda, thanks for bringing me on again today. I love Face It Friday.
You know, I love Face It Friday because that's where I get to face all the things that I need to deal with. And Lisa, this past week, I had the opportunity to talk to more than 20 business owners, entrepreneurs, and authors. Many of them wanting to start businesses, some in the middle phases of their business, others been in business for more than 5 to 10 years. But they all had one thing in common. They were caught up in the rat race and in what everyone thinks you should be doing. And I was very saddened to see, Lisa, that many of them weren't doing what they love and they didn't love what they do. So today I thought we'd talk about just that. And we're going to start with the topic, the question, love what you do. Because when you love what you do, it will never feel like work. That's a quote from me. And guess what, Lisa? I wrote one of my first quotes in the journal that you wrote, the quotes journal, making the most of your voice, creating meaningful quotes for authority. You taught me all about that. And we're going to be talking about this and many more of your journals throughout this broadcast. But Lisa, what's your thoughts on loving what you do?
I think everybody should love what they do. But the challenge is very few people can actually do that. You have got to get to the point in life where you have to make that decision. Am I going to work or am I going to love what I do, enjoy my life, and work? And that's where the challenge comes in for a lot of people. And one of the bigger challenges, especially when you're our age, because when you're our age, hopefully by now you're able to stop whatever it was you were doing to get to this point and then love what you do. I know I'm very fortunate. I get to do what I love. Even if I wasn't doing what I loved at work, I would still, after duty hours, be able to love what I do. So even if it's going to take you a little while to transition or a long while, because, unfortunately, reality comes into the way and things cost money. And sometimes you just can't find the work that you love. So figure out what you love and then find a way to do it.
And Lisa, that's so important. That's why our next point of discussion is do what you love. Life is too short to live in the negative. And the entrepreneurs that I talked to this week, Lisa, a lot of them were negative about what they were doing. And I'm saying, I think it's important that we not only love what we do, but that we do what we love. And there is definitely a difference, because I talked to some that actually, they say, oh, I love the job, but I just hate what I have to do it. And I'm like going, what? So when it comes to that, and we're coaching different people at different stages in their businesses, and it's my contention, Lisa, that people can not only love what they do, but that they can do what they love if they structure their business correctly. Thank
I think you're 100% right. You know, a lot of times when people are too busy working in their business and not working on their business, that's when they stop loving what they do. That's the time that you have to go back in life and say, okay, let me think about why I started this and what I loved about it, and then find a way to get that love and that passion back. I was talking to a business the other day who just is so frustrated. They've got the perfect little boutique gift shop,
you. Mm-hmm.
but they're frustrated because the customers who come in are so agitated when they're coming in. They're not buying like they did pre-COVID. And I said, why don't you make it fun when people come in? You know, give the enlightenment, give when people come in, if they're frustrated, there's something they're frustrated about. So try to find a way to bring that in, and that'll make things a whole lot better. Because I think the reality is we all start a business for the love of it. Very few people start a business because they can and no other reason.
Lisa, one of the people that helped me love what I do is one that just made a comment. Coach Emmanuel, he was very helpful in helping me find my path to where I am right now. And I really am thankful for his tutelage, his mentorship, and for him helping me get to a place to where I too wanted to be a book publisher, and also became a best-selling author. And now I've done it 3 times. But in that process of doing it, there were some things that I had to learn. And one of the things, Lisa, was that I had to invest in myself. I had to invest in myself for coaching, which is what I love about what you do at Take Action University and the things that you help people. I want you to talk about what you think is the importance of, before we get into our customer talk, about why having a coach can help you uh, gain clarity and get further along in your process.
Because the reality is we only know what we know, right? We don't know what we don't know until somebody tells us. And I think that that's ultimately what it is. Having a coach, what that does is allows you to allow somebody else to get a vision into where you are and give you insight from a completely different perspective. If you focus only on what you know and you don't have somebody on the outside helping you, whether it's a coach or a mentor, however it is you want to do it, then you're going to struggle at times. And you know how, and you and I both know how hard it is on our own. If
Mm-hmm.
we come into a stopping block, well, for me, if I come into a stopping block, I'll just stop.
Mm-hmm.
But having a coach or a mentor or a friend, they're not going to let you stop. A coach traditionally will hold you accountable. A coach can sometimes send you reminders. I have one of my clients, I email every morning a
Mm-hmm.
specific reminder for something, even though I may only talk to her once every other month. I get so much information from when I've talked to her that I know how to motivate her and keep her going. Because sometimes life does get in the way and things can happen. So if you have a coach, they're going to also dig deeper and they'll be able to look into different things. A lot of coaches can also help you de stress,
Mm-hmm.
because especially as entrepreneurs, one of the things as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we're up on deadlines. We have people needing things. We have so much on our plate that sometimes it can become overwhelming, especially if you're a solopreneur like you and I are. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everything we do, everything. We are all the C's. We're the CEO, the CFO, the COO, and the CMO. So because we're all of that, the stress and the pressure can sometimes get to it, especially when something goes wrong. So having that coach, that mentor, that friend, that accountability buddy, having them help guide you and get you where you need to go is always beneficial.
I really felt that having the coaches that I have in my life, like Coach D'Emmanuel and yourself, and the wellness mentor, Dr. Neeson Sayer, has been really important for me to make sure that I not only set goals, but I actually take action to meet those goals. And without the coaches that have helped me stay on task, because I'm a shiny object person, I don't believe I ever would have completed my books or a lot of things I did, because I would have just let it go to the wayside. One thing that one coach taught me that I think is really important, which is why you have this next talking point, is what is in it for me. And this is where I want to have the conversation about customers, because when I first started out, I really thought my business was about me. And that was an eye-open revelation when I realized it ain't about me. And after being told that by you, Coach D, and a whole bunch of other folks, I was like, you mean it's not about me? The sun doesn't rise because I showed up? I was
The
shocked and
sun does
appalled.
rise because you show up.
I was shocked and appalled to think that my business was not about me, but it was actually about the people that I say I want to serve. And I think that is a big mistake a lot of new business owners, or because they have all these great ideas, they're full of passion about what they want to do, but they haven't even asked, does anybody even want that? So if you could talk a little about the importance of understanding that we have to understand as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, writers, authors, whatever it is you're doing, that it's not about us. It's all about them and what's in it for them.
Exactly. And you came from the background of hobby to business. So when it's a hobby, it really is all about you. When it's a hobby, it is 100% about you. The minute you decided to turn it into a business, now we have to look at what the customer wants. Because when it's a hobby, people will generally pay you. But when it's a business, now there's a completely different mindset. Wait a minute, you're in business now? Okay. Well, this is how I want it because I'm paying you because you're a business. Now you need to know how I want it. A lot of times, there's a bunch of niches out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can Google it and you can look, you'll Google a niche and it'll have 50 million. So all of a sudden you think, oh, 50 million people want my service. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's something I love.
Yeah.
You really have to adjust the narrowing down and you really have to look at and readjust. Is it really what they want? If you don't do your research, you can have all the stuff in the world, but is anybody going to buy it? And if you don't do that research first to find out that what my customer wants, first of all, who is my customer? So, and I'll use you as an example because I think you're the perfect example to have a variety of different products. However, your niche and your target customer is different. But your niche is specific, but your target customers are different. So your niche is generally women over 40 who you're going to help them tell their stories. And, but here's the thing, everybody has a different story, right? So
Right.
when you target it, are you targeting over the woman over 40 who wants to tell the story of her life? Are you targeting the woman over 40 who wants to show her authority and therefore she wants to write the book? Are you writing or targeting people like me who really, I would have never written a book if it wasn't for you. I mean, I did my little twiddle thing with the notes to a veteran, thank you for your service, but that was more geared towards getting people to write notes and I put it together and called it a book kind of thing. But without you and watching you go through soul searching and realizing the value of the book becoming an authority piece. And on top of that, I can get people to take action by doing the how-to kind of books without it being a how-to.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it different. So you actually, in your particular case, you have one niche, which is self-publishing, helping women over 40 tell their stories, but you can go 100 different ways with it. And so you have to consider very carefully who your target market is and what they want, because it's what they want and what they need that will get certain customers to you and not to. And that's why understanding who your customers are and who your target audience is and what they want, and gearing what you do towards them is going to make a difference.
Thank you, Lisa. And we're going to come back to that. Right now, we're going to take a commercial break for Convene Communities. In Convene Communities, it is a platform with a purpose where people gather as a collective to become one in many. Here at Convene Communities, I hold a community called the Life Community. And that's where you'll find my group coaching program, the Solutionist Portal. Also, within the Convene Communities, there is the Bookshelves and Inkwells community, where I hold my self publishing for fun and profit. Both of these communities and groups, both communities are free. Each group is a paid group, but is an opportunity for you to get the coaching you need around your business or your self publishing needs. Lisa, I'm so excited that we are talking about love what you do and do what you love. Because one of the things that happened when I was talking to the different um, entrepreneurs and business owners and authors this week is that I found out that most of them were in the box. And I asked the question, are you in a box? You can see their little illustration I did is that I started out, Lisa, in the box. And what that meant to me is that when I first started, I hired coaches, spent a lot of money. I got on every social media platform. I worked on the giant website. I did a business plan. I took more training than the law allows, and I spent more money than I needed to. And guess what? I was still a hobby because, as you so aptly pointed out, if you are doing something but you're not making money, you have a hobby, you don't have a business. That was a shock to my pocketbook and a shock to my ego. So, I had to sit down and really think about why am I doing what everybody else says? And why was because I didn't know any better. And I was hiring coaches that were in the box with me. I wanted you to talk about what it was like watching me be in the box before we talk about how I made the shift.
It was interesting because all the training that you kept taking, the one thing that you and I pointed out during the time in which you were coming out and going from hobby to business was we were talking about how everybody's talking the same thing. Things that have been around for over 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that people are just regurgitating in a different way. And part of being in the box is everybody tells you follow somebody who's doing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we're in a society today where a lot of people are doing what they want to do or doing what other people have done. So they're just cookie cutters. And that is what happens when you're in the box. You are following a cookie cutter process instead of outside the box where you've come up with a different process. You're working a different process. And even though you're using a lot of the skills and the things that you learned in courses and things that you learned from mentors and coaches over the years, it brings it to a completely different level because you've decided to step outside the box. But watching you has been fascinating. And I mean that in a positive way because we bounce a lot of stuff off of each other. I have grown just as much as you have grown. We've both grown in different ways, but the learning that we've been able to do together and watch when we go out and help so many people. But then we also go out and we charge people. And so it's interesting as we go through and decide that this is what we're going to do. And then we've learned over the time that we have to reframe everything and follow a set structure. But we don't want to follow everybody else's structure. We want to create our own roadmaps that are going to give our clients something completely different than everybody else. And that's what you've been able to do with T.A.P.I.N. You've been able to take your T.A.P.I.N and use it for every single thing out there. I don't care what the topic is. And that really takes you outside the box.
And Lisa, That was one of the things that I said when we were having this conversation is I wanted to spend some time talking about what is required when you decide you're going to make the shift. I made this illustration because when I made the shift to do the T.A.P.I.N, self-publishing for fun and profit, life coaching, became a best-selling author, worked every other month, and then began to dream big and bigger than that. And I realized it was my choice. It was my story to tell. And boy, oh boy, was that a game changer. Because the reality is, as I talked to these different people, and I heard one girl say, "Well, I wish I could." And I was like, "Why don't you?" Well, who are they? See, I was so caught up in they for so long that I one day decided that it was my choice how I ran my business. So imagine other entrepreneurs' horror for me personally and their fear for me when I told them I was going to take every other month off. You can't do that. Well, I can and I have. I knew for myself, as someone diagnosed with post traumatic stress disorder, I cannot do the day to day grind. It does not work for me. So I had to set up systems, time manage, time block, and do things that allow me to have that downtime. Because as you know, Lisa, when I crash, I crash. And if I was fully responsible for a business, there'd be no way for me to really sustain that. So creating a business that did not require me to have my hands on daily, that would allow me to make passive income seemed like the correct route for me. Where somebody else that has the ability to do the day-to-day grind, something that they can report to 9 to 5 works perfect for them. And so what I wanted to talk about right here is I want you to talk about how did you structure your business so that it works for you so that you could do what you love and love what you do.
So I'm a workaholic and I love to work. So
Okay.
my structure was a whole lot easier than yours, because I do work 7 days a week, because I do such a variety of different things. But one thing that I did say that I was going to do, and I have been able to do that, is you and I've had this conversation where I hate to read. I absolutely hate it. And we did that 75 hard thing, and I had to read 10 pages every day. And by the way, for Brenda, it was a no brainer. For me, it was a solid struggle. I mean, I really struggled. But I realized the value of reading a book.
Mhm.
And for me, I said, I need to spend 10 minutes a day, no matter what, with a book. And it can be
Mhm.
my Kindle, it can be a hard paper book because I'm a Kindle kind of person. But for me, I needed to put that piece of structure in place because I am a workaholic. I know that I
Mhm.
am, I live by myself, so I'm okay. There's nobody who's going to bother me. I can get up when I want to get up. I can do what I want to do. And because I have severe migraines, when I need to shut down, I can. So a lot of what I do is the online courses and then the coaching, which is separate. But I also do team building, which is an in person process.
Mhm.
So I limit those particular things that are outside of my house,
Mhm.
um, to no more than 3 a month. And that way I've adjusted my schedule, because if I get a migraine, I shut down. And when I was not, before I was by an entrepreneur, before I quit my job back in July, I couldn't just shut down. So my migraines got a whole lot worse.
Mhm.
So it's nice to be able to shut down. So that's why I schedule the way I schedule, even though I do work all the time.
March 6th was National Unplug Day, and I totally forgot about it, and I didn't unplug at all. So, in honor of March 6th, I'm going to unplug after this uh, podcast, and then I'm not going to turn my computer back on until Monday. That's something I'm going to do for myself because that's part of my self care and my mental well being. So many entrepreneurs are burning the candle at both ends, and people are having heart attacks, they're having strokes, they're just not happy. And you can't do what you love or love what you do if you don't establish a clear daily routine and structures and systems that allow you to run your business more efficiently and more effectively. So I wanted to spend a little time talking about that, Lisa, because one of the things that we do inside of the Solutionist portal is that we teach people how to have structure. And anybody interested in joining that monthly group, there's a fee monthly for that group. You just DM me or go call, email me, or go to my website, which is brendasolutionist.com. And we teach people how to set up their day, and we help them save at least 2 to 3 hours a day. We talk to them about being their authentic selves and how they can love what they do and do what they love. Because one of the things that all the people I talk to, I would ask them questions, Lisa, like, do you have a morning routine? You know, your morning routine should start when you wake up. Do you make your bed? Do you drink some water? Do you exercise? Do you meditate, pray, do yoga? Whatever it is for you. And here's the thing. I want to say this to know that just because I get up at dark 30 every morning and do many things before 8 a.m. doesn't mean you have to. That's the beauty of doing what you love and loving what you do, that you structure a day that fits with your lifestyle. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are not structuring days to live with their lifestyle. And on top of that, they're saying, I'm doing this for my family, but then their family's not part of the equation. You want to speak to that for a second?
That is probably the understatement of the year. And one of the things that I started to do early on in my career, we didn't have we had the internet, but nothing like this. This is back in 2006 and 2003. And one of the things after 9/11 that I realized was the value of family and spending time together. And so what I did was, when I would get home, I would touch the tree that was outside my house after I got out of the car, and I would leave work. That was my reminder to leave work out of the house. And then when I would come to work in the morning, I'd put my hand back on that tree to remind me that, okay, now I'm going to focus on work and I'm going to leave family separate, because I'm very strict on keeping my personal life and my work life separate. And I think that that's so important, and that if you don't do that, it creates a problem. If you don't have some sort of routine, if you are like me and you're like, I can work 7 days a week, and I love working 7 days a week because I don't have a family who lives with me where I have to be constantly, that's okay. But that also has to be structured. In the evening, because I can't just I choose not to
Choose
turn
not
my
to.
computer off. But I want to work on different things because I've got so much in my head that I want to get done. So I spend an hour every day working on one of my books. And who would have thought that I, of all people on this God green earth, would actually want to write a book?
Let me see. And let's see. We have the affirmation journal, which I love. Okay, yes. And we have the 52-week celebration journal, which you use to celebrate yourself. We have the 52-week ideal journal. All of these were created by Lisa. And one of my personal favorites is the Power of Success Journey with AI Quick Guide. There's more coming. And, Lisa, again, that's you doing what you love and loving what you do. And I know you have 3 more journals and another book in the pipeline. Yep. And that's what I want to get across to anyone who listens to this today, is that you get to decide, right down to when you work, how often you work. You get to decide if you want to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning or if you want to get up at 9 a.m. in the morning. Here's the thing. There's no right or wrong answer. You get to decide if you want to join every social media platform known to man and create your own, or if you just want to get one and master it. What I tell the people that come into the portal is find that one and master it. And I will tell you why. For someone saying, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. When I first started, Lisa, and you know this, I was on everything. And pretty much still am. I was on Connections, YouTube, it's a tube. I'm on it because that's what I was told by the coaches. Then one day, Lisa here, the 15 Minutes Results, who's all about taking action, said, Brenda, why are you on all those platforms? Oh, because I have to, Lisa. They really said, Lisa said, no, you don't. She said, let me show you something. And she showed me an analytics report that blew my mind. And what I discovered is that my biggest engagement was on Clubhouse, Facebook, and Instagram. Everything else, it was crickets. So then you have to ask yourself, Is it worth your time to be posting and creating content for all those other 6 platforms that were getting zero engagement? Or should I focus on the 3 or the one that was getting me the most? I decided to focus on the 3: YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. That's where my inroads began to come and show that that's where I was getting the most engagement. Everything else is still there, but I'm not spending quality time on those others because that's not what's going to give me the best return on my investment. What I'm simply saying, ladies and gentlemen, is every day of your business, you're going to have to make decisions and choices that are going to allow you to get the most bang for your buck, the best return on your investment, the best return on your investment of time, energy, your spiritual, physical, mental, all of that. You have to factor all of that in there. And I think it's important to take a step back so that you can take a step forward to get to do what you love and love what you do. Lisa?
I totally agree. And I've noticed a lot of people today are really spending time really living in the past negative. The past got us where we are today. So forget about your past. Yeah, it may have been crappy. You may have made mistakes. We don't succeed if we don't fail. Let's just face it. We have things we can't go back and change because we can't get any of that time back. So give yourself permission to love what you do and give yourself permission to enjoy the moment. And if you can enjoy the moment, even if it's just a moment, just reflect and enjoy it.
My mother used to always tell me when I was little, you don't fail. Fail is simply find another ideal later. And I always remember that when I find myself in a situation saying, well, maybe I just didn't do that right. But right now, what you said about giving yourself permission, that's my final slide for today, Lisa. You're invited to love what you do what you love. I'm asking each and every one of yourself to give yourself permission to create the business that you actually want. To write the story that you want to live. Remember, you have the pen, so you might as well make it an epic adventure. Set yourself a daily routine that works for you, that fits within your schedule. If you're a single mom, you know what it takes to get those kids up and out for school, or even if you're homeschooling, whatever the case may be. Or if you're a dink, dual income, no kids. What does it take for you to have your business on the side? Or if you're somebody that's just starting to build, maybe you have a 9 to 5 and you're doing your side hustle until you can make it a full-time permanent situation. Whatever your situation is, the key is do what you love what you do by creating a structured system that works for you. And for those of you that are screaming bloody murder right now saying, Brenda, I don't like structure, I don't like systems, well, make a loose structure. The key is create a blueprint or roadmap or whatever you want to call it that will allow you to do what you love and love what you do with ease. Your final thoughts, Lisa?
You know what? You said it all. And just do what you love and love what you do. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy a moment, because really, that's all we have in this world.
We're going to tap in before we go. And how do you tap in to do what you love and love what you do? Number one, you make the first thing you do is you take the T and transform your mindset and realize that it's your choice. Make a definite decision that as of today, you're going to do what you love and you're going to love what you do. Then I want you to announce to the world and get some accountability by hiring a coach like Lisa or Coach Emmanuel that was here with us earlier, or a coach like me, or someone that will guide you to do what you want. But be careful about the coaches you pick. If someone says this is the only way, their way, the highway, get another coach. Find a coach that is truly about helping your vision come to pass. Then I want you to P. I want you to prepare for the breakthrough that you want to be able to do what you love and love what you do. You prepare by setting up a daily routine, getting clear on what your daily routine will look like based on your lifestyle and what your own personal needs are. Then I want you to imagine what your life will be like 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, if you actually loved what you do and did what you loved. Think about that just for a minute. Then I want you to nurture that thought and begin to understand that it's your choice. Because as long as you can conceive it, you can achieve it. It is Face It Friday, and I'm facing the fact, along with Lisa, that any business that I have or that I want, it's my choice. So I just like to remind each and every one of you that the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely and choose to do what you love and love what you do. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, Brenda.